Just want to start this video by saying shout out to my guy Rocked On Podcast. He talked about this gentleman this afternoon. Had a lot of people in my comment section before that asking me to talk about this guy. So here we are. You see him on the thumbnail. Jonathan Greenard, kind of an under the radar person that is a free agent this year. He is a defensive end. Now, the thing about the Houston Texans is the Houston Texans, they have Will Anderson Jr. and Greenard was an absolute dog last year for them. The pairing of those two guys were ridiculous. And this guy right here is somebody that the Detroit Lions might be wanting to take a look at coming into free agency. Now, I looked at the top 100. Greg Rosenthal. Is it Rosenthal? I want to say it's Rosenthal. The guy with NFL Network. He does the top 101 free agents every year. But what he did this year is he divvied them up by position. And I think that that's pretty cool because the other way was just 101, period. But he talked about Jonathan Greenard and this guy. Let's look at his free agent list. Now, this is edge rusher. And it's funny because these are all guys. I want you to look at this list. Check this out. Edge rushers by position, top 101. Number 1, Danielle Hunter. Number 2, Jonathan Greenard. Number 3, Bryce Huff. Number 4, Chase Young, the guy you guys hate, absolutely. Number 5, Zadarius Smith. And number 6, Andrew Van Ginkel. Andrew Van Ginkel would be a guy, I'm telling you, man, 29 years old, though. So he's definitely going to be one of those second-tier pass rusher individuals. But when we look at free agency opening, the Detroit Lions haven't done much, and we'll talk about that in a different video because they really can't. There's nobody out there that was available that they really could take a look at. I mean, Justin Simmons is a guy that they could be trying to bring in, but maybe they're trying to still work on a deal with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But if we look at Jonathan, this guy had a phenomenal 2023. He had 36 solo. First of all, this is the first thing that stood out to me. He was drafted in the 3rd round, pick 90. So that's another chip on the shoulder guy, rookie contract. Had 36 solo tackles, 12 and a half sacks, and a forced fumble. And if we look at his stats, his entire career with the Houston Texans, I want to say he might have been injured last year, but you're talking about a bounce back season. Had 1 his rookie year, 8, and then 1.5, and then 12.5. Now, you could say, if you're a pattern type of guy like myself, that this year would be an off year, but it doesn't necessarily go like that. But if you look, bad year, good year, bad year, good year. So statistically, pattern-wise, he would have a bad year, but this is something that stuck out to me. I like to look at patterns. But when it comes to a pass rusher, Chris Jones is off the market, now the highest paid defensive tackle in the league. As far as paying Aiden Hutchinson, we don't have to worry about that for another couple of years. Penei Sewell is our number 1 priority heading into the season after this one coming up. St. Brown, still no word on what happened with him and his contract. So kind of wondering what's going on with Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions, what's going on there. But this guy would be one of those middle of the pack guys. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, my number 1 person was Josh Allen. He's off the board. They're playing games with Brian Burns. I wouldn't want him anyway. So now it's Danielle Hunter. But now you have to balance. Is there a way that you could get, I mean, just imagine this. You get a Danielle Hunter. You get a Jonathan Greenard. You get a, or Greenard. You get a Andrew Van Ginkel, Epinesa. There's a lot of mid-tier guys out there. A Bryce Huff. Those guys, if you could manage 2 or even 3 of those guys, you never know. But if we get that Danielle Hunter, where are we going to get those secondary players from? I think the Detroit Lions are going to do this. I think it's going to be 1 to 2 in free agency. There's going to be a hefty pass rusher. So if it's not Danielle, I do believe that the Detroit Lions are going to sign Christian Wilkins or Jonathan Greenard or Andrew Van Ginkel or Bryce Huff. AJ Epinesa, one of those guys, I believe, will be a Detroit Lion, if not 2. And then we'll fill up the rest through the draft. People who will be on our team this year, Josh Pasco, Levi Onwuzurike. I think the Detroit Lions are going to keep him. This is his last year. So being that 2nd round pick, I believe he only gets a 4-year deal. Why not? We need the depth anyway. But when it comes to a game-changing player, could we have a guy like this? Now, this guy is playing for a contract. He played for a contract coming off his rookie deal, was paid peanuts in that 3rd round, coming off basically $1 million. And if we look at his market value is, as soon as my website changes, $2.4 million. So you could get him on a 4-year deal. He's 27. But if we go back and we look at his birthday, he will be 27 when the season begins. So Danielle Hunter turns 30 during the season, right around halfway through the season. Jonathan will be 27 before the season begins. But if we look at his market value, he is $7 million less than a Danielle Hunter and $3 million more than a Bryce Huff. AJ Epinesa, he's about 7 or 8 above him. And I don't even think Andrew Van Ginkel, last time I checked, had a market value. So a guy like Jonathan Greenard is, to me, in that Bryce Huff, AJ Epinesa, better than Epinesa and Van Ginkel, but not as coveted as Danielle Hunter. I think Danielle Hunter, as far as free agent pass rushers, dude is still a monster. And he is still my number one priority now that Josh Allen is off the table. So Brad Holmes has quite a bit of choices. And you also have the Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa I wanted nothing to do with, but Khalil Mack's one of those guys who could get cut, like a Justin Simmons, that might come here on a Russell Wilson type deal or something like that, because they can see the upward trajectory of the Detroit Lions. Remember, the Detroit Lions were a place that you go to when you wanted to, like, your career died in Detroit. That's not the case now. I think for the first time in a long time, from the 9-8 season, eliminating the Packers, to the NFC Championship game, fighting to sneeze, the Detroit Lions are going to have an opportunity to get some massive free agents. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We hit 20,000 subscribers today. That is amazing. I want to say thank you. If you haven't seen the 20,000 subscribers stream, go watch it. From the bottom of my heart, man, I want to say thank you. I do appreciate you. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. So with that being said, man, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. And thank you again for 20,000. More to come. And matter of fact, the best is yet to come.